Hi guys, welcome back. I just want to talk through the solutions to this assessment that you guys took yesterday. So we're just going to go through problem by problem. Please feel free to skip forward to the ones that you missed. You don't need to watch this entire video. Just fast forward to the ones that you missed and then make sure you guys know how to do each of these problems. Cool. All right, let's get started. So number one is asking you to find the volume of this cylinder. So first thing we need to know is we just need to remember that our formula is volume equals the area of the base times the height. So first thing we're going to do is find the area of our base, and the area of our base right here is a circle. In order to find the area of a circle, we just need to find the radius. So they give us the diameter, cut that in half. That tells us our radius is going to be 9 meters long. So then we're just going to plug it in. So area of our base, this b value right here, is going to be pi r squared, so 9 squared, and then we're just going to multiply that by the height. So our height is 8, and then we're going to just plug it in our calculator over here. So 9 squared times 8. So at this point, I'm leaving out the pi. So if we wanted this to be exact, it would be 648 pi meters cubed, because we're working with volume. Now, it looks like in this one, I wanted you to round it to your nearest meter instead of leaving it exact. So then you're going to take that answer and then just multiply by pi. So answer times pi. So then if we round the nearest meter, the decimal is bigger than 5, so that rounds this one up. So it's really going to be 2,036 meters cubed is going to be your answer. So then that should have been your final answer for this guy. Okay, question number 2, this one's the surface area. So the surface area is all of the area on the outside of the shape, including the sides and the base. So in order to find the surface area of this pyramid, we know our surface area formula is 1/2 perimeter of the base times the slant height plus the area of the base. So we're just going to find all of those things. So let's make sure we have it. So we know the bottom of this is a square, so the perimeter is just going to be 10 times 4. So your perimeter right here, this is going to be 40. So perimeter of your base. And then the L is your slant height. So we have the slant height is 10. So then this is going to be 10 times 1/2. And then we're going to add to that the area of the base. So to get the area of the base, you just do 10 times 10, or 10 squared. And then that gives us our surface area. So if we calculate, 40 times 10 is going to be 400, times 1/2, divide that by 2 is the same thing. So this will be 200, plus the 10 squared, which is 100. And so then we should get that this is exactly 300 inches, and we're working with surface area, so it's inches squared. So 300 inches squared right here, this should be your final answer. Okay, number 3, this is a rectangular prism, and we want to find the surface area again. So the surface area of this one, since it's not a pyramid or a cone, is just the perimeter of the base times the height, plus 2 times the area of the base, so that you get the area of the top and the bottom of the shape. So, okay, let's just plug it in. So if we're going to find the perimeter of the base, it's just 6 plus 3 plus 6 plus 3. Times the height, and the height is the 8 going up and down, plus 2 times the area of the base, and to get the area of this rectangle down here, we just do 6 times 3. Okay, so if we do 6 plus 6, that's 12, plus another 6 would be 18, times 8, plus 2 times, and then 6 times 3 is 18. So then we just plug that in. So 18 times 8 plus 2 times 18. And we get exactly 180 inches squared, because we're finding the surface area. So the answer for this one should have been this, 180 inches squared. Okay, 4, we want to find the volume of this cone. So remember, volume for cones is 1/3 area of the base times the height. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to just find the area of the base. So the area of our base is a circle. We need the radius, so that means that this gets cut in half, so this is 6 inches. Excuse me. So area of our base is going to be pi r squared, so pi 6 squared, which is 36 pi. And then the height of our cone is 8 inches, so now we know the area of the base and the height, so we can just plug it in. So volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height, and the height in this case is 8. Now, if I look at this, we're again rounding, so I'm just going to plug this whole thing into my calculator, including the pi. So I'm going to do 36 times pi times 8 and then I'm going to divide it by 3. So that dividing by 3 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/3. Click enter, and then let's see, this is a 5, so it's going to round up. So this should be 302 inches cubed because we're working with volume. So 302 inches cubed. Okay, so this one is really similar. This is a pyramid instead of a cone. So it is your rectangular base pyramid, but it has the same formula as the cone, 1/3 area of the base times the height. So we just can go ahead and do this. So we've got 1/3. To get the area of the base, we're just gonna do 4 times 3. So we get 12 times the height, and the height of our pyramid here is 6. Then we just plug that in. So then if we do 12 times 6, actually we don't even need to plug this in. If I do 12 divided by 3 right here, this becomes 4 times 6. So then this is really just 24 feet. And then we're working on volume, so cubed. So 24 feet cubed is going to be your final answer for that one. Okay, number 6, we want surface area of the cylinder rounded to the nearest meter again. So surface area, again, for these prisms that are the same on the top and bottom, have the same shape, and then they're just repeated over and over again, is the perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. So in order to get the perimeter of this base, that's the circumference of this circle. So this is really 2 pi r times the height plus 2, and then to get the area of this base, this is pi r squared. So we're just going to plug this in. So the only things we really need are the height, which is 10, and the radius, which is 2. So we do 2 pi, the radius was 2, the height was 10, plus 2 pi, and then the radius was 2 again. So let's see, if we do 2 times 10, that becomes 20, times 2, this is 40 pi, plus 2 squared is 4, times another 2 is 8, so 8 pi. So this becomes 48 pi meters, and then we're working on surface area, so squared. And then it looks like we wanted to round again, so we're just gonna plug that in. So 48 pi, and then we'll get, let's see, this decimal is higher than 5, so this rounds up, 151 meters squared. And then that's your total surface area for your cylinder. Okay, this one is super easy. Volume of a rectangular prism is seriously just area of the base, bless you, times the height. So area of your base is 6 times 12. And then we're going to multiply by the height, which is 7. And then we just plug that in. So 6 times 12 times 7 is 504. And then we're working on volume, so centimeters cubed. So 504, oops, not squared. That's a tricky one. 504 centimeters. Ooh, that's messed up. I'll go change that. So this should say, because it's volume, this should be centimeters cubed. So 500, this should be cubed. So I will fix that on your guys' test. Good thing you haven't taken this yet. Okay, number 8. We are looking for the surface area of this guy. So this is a weird one. Your cone has a weird surface area formula. So hopefully you had this written down when you were doing this assessment. But your surface area is pi, radius, slant height. So those all multiply together, plus the area of your base, which is pi r squared. So let's see. The first thing we need is radius. Cut this in half. Our radius is going to be 3 millimeters. And then we do have our slant height is 5. So then we're just good to plug this in. So pi, the radius was 3, the slant height was 5, plus 5, or pi 3 squared. So this becomes 15 pi plus 9 pi, which is 24 pi millimeters squared, because we're working with surface area. So again, we're rounding, so we're going to plug that in. So 24 times pi becomes, let's see, that does not round up because this is lower than 5. So 75 millimeters squared is going to be your surface area for this figure. Okay, number 9, we want surface area of this lovely cylinder again. So again, remember surface area is perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. And then this is really 2 pi r because it's the circumference. So the perimeter of your base is your circumference times the height, and the height in this case is 10 because it's going this direction. And then your area of your base, this thing is pi r squared. Okay, so we do need the radius. If that's 10, that means your radius is 5 inches long. So then we've got perimeter is going to be 2 pi 5 times the height in this case, which is 10, plus 2 pi 5 squared. So then let's see, this is 5 times 10, which is 50 times 2. So this is 100 pi plus 5 squared is 25 plus 2 is 50 pi. So this is 150 pi inches squared. It's going to be your surface area, but we're rounding again, so let's plug it in. So 150 times pi becomes 471 inches squared. And we're working with surface area, so it should be squared. Okay, 10, surface area of this cone. So this one again was that weird formula that I always have to look up. So pi RL plus pi R squared. So let's see, our entire diameter is 16, so that means our radius inside of here is going to be 8 inches. And then we can just go ahead and plug it in. So pi times the radius times the slant height. So in this case, our slant height was 17 going down here, plus pi r squared, so 8 squared. Okay, so let's see, if we do 8 times 17, that becomes 136 pi. Plus 8 squared, which is 64 pi. So if we add that together, that should become 200 pi. Inches surface area, so squared. And then again, we're rounding, so let's just plug it in. So 200 times pi. And we get, let's see, the 3 is less than 5, so this does not round up. Oh, it wanted us to round to 2 decimals, it looks like. So let's see. 8 round up to 2 decimals, this would round up to a 2. So 628.32 inches squared is going to be your total surface area for this one. So that guy right there. Okay, 11. This one's kind of tricky because it's asking for the minimum amount. So it says the Louvre is an art museum, and I probably just totally said that wrong. Louvre is an art museum in Paris. A glass square-based pyramid sits in front of the entrance to the museum. If the pyramid is 35 meters wide at the base, so this is 35 meters, and it is a square-based pyramid, so that means this is also 35 meters. And the height is 20.6 meters tall. So this hits in the middle here. This is 20.6 meters tall as your height. What is the minimum amount of glass needed to construct the pyramid? So the minimum amount of glass. So when you're trying to do this, this is really asking you to find the surface area. But if I'm looking for the smallest amount of glass, I don't think it makes any sense to have the base included in this because it's sitting on the ground. So really what we're looking for is we're just looking for the lateral area of the shape, so just the sides. So when we're doing surface area for these pyramids, we're just gonna exclude the base from it. So our surface area is 1/2 perimeter of the base times slant height. And then normally it's plus the area of the base, but we're going to exclude the area of the base here because we don't necessarily need that glass. We just need the sides of this shape so that we can set it in front of this building and still make it look like a pyramid, a square-based pyramid. Okay, so let's see, the things we need the perimeter of the base, which I think we can do. So the perimeter is going to be 35 times 4 because it is a square, so it's just 35 all the way around. And then the slant height is what we need to figure out. So the slant height is the height that goes down the edge like this, and it creates this right triangle here. So I know the bottom here is going to be 35 cut in half. So 35 divided by 2, this bottom part is going to be 17.5. And then I'm looking for what the slant height over here is. So I have to do the Pythagorean theorem. So to get the slant height, we're going to do 17.5 squared, or slant height squared, equals 17.5 squared plus 20.6 squared. And then to get the slant height all by itself, you just take the square root of all of this. So then your slant height is going to equal your square root. So second square root of 17.5 squared plus 20.6 squared. And so then our slant height, let's just keep it to 2 decimals. Or 1 decimal, because that's what they were doing. So let's see, this would be 20, and let's do 2, 27.03. 27.03 meters is going to be our slant height. And then if we do the 35 times 4 for our perimeter, this is going to be 140. So now we just plug it in. So really we're doing lateral area, not surface area, because we don't want the base. So lateral area is going to be 1/2 perimeter of your base, which was 140, times the slant height, which is 27.03. So let's plug that in. So 140 times 27.03 divided by 2. And we get 1,892.1 meters squared. So then that is your minimum amount of glass that you would need. If you accidentally included the base, it would be this answer right here, but we want the minimum amount. So you only want the lateral area. So that's how you should have gotten that answer. Okay, now we're getting into our lovely hemispheres and spheres. So this one wants the surface area of a hemisphere. So surface area of a hemisphere, the half a sphere, is just 3 pi r squared. So it looks like all we need is the radius. We have it, so let's just plug it in. So it's gonna be 3 pi 9 squared. And then if I look at my answers, they're in decimals. So I'm just gonna go ahead and plug this into my calculator. So 3 pi 9 squared. And we get 73. Now let's be careful with our rounding. So this 7 is bigger than 5, so it rounds this decimal up. So 763.41 inches squared, because we're working with surface area. So then that's going to be your answer for that guy. Okay, now we want volume of a sphere. So the entire sphere, if we want to find the volume of it, it's 4/3 pi r cubed. Again, all we need is the radius. So we have the diameter all the way across the circle, the sphere in this one. So if we cut that in half, it tells us our radius is going to be 6 meters. And then I just plug it in. 4/3 pi 6 cubed. And then we just type it in. So let's do, I'm going to do parentheses 4 divided by 3. Times pi times 6 raised to the 3rd. And we get 904.7. We're doing 2 decimals, so the 8's going to round that up. So 0.78 meters cubed, because we're working with volume. So then that's going to be your answer right there. Okay, now these guys are a little bit more tricky because you have 2 things that you have to find. So in this one, we're going to find the volume. So I'm going to break this into 2 parts. I'm going to find the rectangular prism as 1, and I'm going to find this triangular base, not pyramid, but prism as 2. So in order to find the volume of 1, we seriously just do area of the base times the height of just this portion right here. So this rectangular prism that's on the bottom. So area of the base is going to be 4 times 12. Times the height, which is 14. So 4 times 12 times 14. So 672 is the volume of the bottom part, not including this top part. So then if we want to find the top part, so let's just do this in a different color. We have to find the area of the base, which the base in this case is a triangle, and it looks like this is an equilateral triangle because all of these side lengths are 4. So you have to find the area of this, and then we're going to multiply it by the height of this prism, which is 12. So we're at the moment we have an equilateral triangle, 4, 4, 4. And in order to find the area of a triangle, we have to find the height. So I'm going to drop a height down here. Now we do know with equilateral triangles that all of the angles are 60. So that means this is 60. The top one gets cut in half right here, so this is really 30. So we've just created a 30, 60, 90 for ourselves. So this is 60, this is 30. I'm cutting this bottom part in half, so this is 2, and then this length is 4. Now all I need is the height. This is the side across from 60, so that means this is just 2 squared to 3. So to find the area of the base, which is the big B, we do the area of the base of the base of my triangle, which is 4. Times the height of that triangle, which is 2 squared to 3. So base times height and divided by 2. So then if we do 4 times 2, that becomes 8, divided by 2 is 4. So this is 4 squared to 3. So the area of this base is 4 squared to 3. Now to find the volume of this entire part, we do the area of this base times the height. So to find the volume, we do area of the base times the height, which in this case is 12 because the height is 12 going along here. So then this becomes 48 squared to 3. So if I do 12 times 4, I get 48. And so this is our volume number 2. Now to get the total volume, we just add those 2 things together. So we're gonna take 672 plus 48 square roots of 3. And then if we look at our answers, they're all in decimals. So we're just gonna go plug that in. So 672 plus 48 square root of 3. So then let's see, we're doing 2 decimal places. So go 2, go backwards 1. This is higher than 5, so that rounds up. So our total volume is going to be 755.14 centimeters cubed. So this guy right there. Okay, last question, number 15. It says find the surface area. So again, I'm going to break this into 2 parts. I'm going to find the surface area of this rectangular prism first, and then I'm going to find the surface area of this cone second. So we're going to start with number 1. If I want the outside, finding the surface area of this, remember the surface area of any prism is the perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. So let's see. Perimeter of this rectangular prism is going to be 9 plus 12 plus 9 plus 12 times the height, which is 4, plus 2 times the area of the base, and the base is just going to be 9 times 12. Okay, so if I simplify this a little bit, if I did 9 plus 12 plus 9 plus 12, this becomes 42 times 4 plus 2 times 9 times 12. Okay, and then we're just going to plug that in. Let's see what we got. So 42 times 4 plus 2 times 9 times 12. So we get 384 feet squared because we're working the surface area. Now, the one thing that's mean is we did not, or we included this part of the cone in that rectangular prism. So in order to get just the area of the top that is actually a part of the surface area, we have to get rid of this base of the cone. So I have to subtract out the base of the cone area. So in order to find the area of the base of the cone, it's just pi times r squared, and our radius was 3. So the entire surface area for this number 1 here would be 384 minus 9 pi. Okay? So then if I plug that in, we do 384 minus 9 pi. So we get 355.7, let's just round to 2 decimal places, so 73. And then I have to find the surface area of this cone. Now we don't want to include the base because it's not on the outside of the shape. We just want to find the lateral area, so the sides of this cone. So for number 2, we're just finding lateral area of the cone, which is that formula pi r L. And we have the radius and we have the slant height. So it's just going to be pi times 3 times 7.6. And then it looks like, yeah, we're just going decimal. So let's just plug this in. So 3 pi times 7.6. And this becomes 71.63. So then if we want the total surface area for this, we're just going to take our 2 surface areas here and add them together. So total surface area is going to equal 355.73 plus 71.63. So 355.73 plus 71.63. So we've got 427.36, and it looks like we did a little more rounding. So this is going to be your answer right here. And then the answer is in feet squared because we are working in surface area. So then that's going to be your answer right there. So the quicker that you round, or the more you round, the earlier you round, you're going to be off a little bit by decimals, but that's okay. I hope that made sense. Please reach out if you guys need help with anything, and I hope that you guys are all doing really well. Bye, guys.